Hello everybody, my name is Caden and welcome back to our Prehistoric Fauna Park and the final episode of our Triassic area. And I know there's some people who probably heard final episode and were panicked for a second there, like, oh my goodness, is he only doing 6 videos of this park? No, I'm doing more. I don't know. I just wanted to say the final episode of this section because you know what? Maybe I want to scare you guys a little bit. Make a little bit of tension, make it more fun. You never know. Maybe I'll just straight up disappear again for like another year between this episode and the Ceratosaurus episode. Oh no, I've leaked actually what the next episode is. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, what is it? Yes, today we're building the Saurosuchus exhibit, which is basically just like I want to say a mini Postosuchus, but it's not that small. It's a fairly large animal. But yeah, this is the one we do the dry moat for, which, we alluded to back in the Saurosuchus episode. Dun, 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 you gotta bring up the references, We're making that, expanded universe of references and the dinos videos. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's once again very late when I'm recording the voiceover. So if you're enjoying very sleep-deprived Caden and his ADHD insanity brain, I don't know, slap the like button, hit subscribe for more of it, We all know this is what you guys want. Like, this is the content. This is peak content. Anyway, a random guy just talking about some build he made like 3 weeks ago. Anyway, the Saurosuchus exhibit today, like I've said in the past, is based somewhat off some lion enclosures, namely the dry mode, kind of how it's set up. To be honest, it's probably, ironically, it's kind of like our Chromosaurus, as I called them, the chrome dinos. If I had taken the ideas of that exhibit and built a bunch of cool things, except it actually worked out. Because although I took inspiration from a couple of builds, this is kind of more my own thing, but it actually works, which is amazing. But I think it's also that this is an animal more the size of what I'm used to building for. These like medium to large sized creatures, mostly because, at least with dinosaurs, that's pretty much all I've built for or the majority of what I build in fossils and archaeology. The cursed Jurassic Craft mods, their animals are even larger than this on average, so I'm just used to making larger enclosures because that's most of what I've done over my many years of making these videos. Anyway, that's off topic. It's a pretty standard exhibit. We've got rock walls along the back, a shelter in the center of the back of the enclosure, dry moat to separate the guests and the dinosaur because, well, to be honest, and this is something I'm trying not to do as much of because I love moats, especially dry moats, because I can put little bits of shrubbery down there. The problem with dry moats is they're too good, which is weird. But anyway, the problem I'm having with them is basically they solve all my problems. A dry moat or a regular moat means all I have to do is dig a little trench between the guests and the dinosaur, lower the dinosaur down at like the front by 1 block, and that's it. Don't need to do any fences, don't need to do very much else, great visibility, all this stuff. It's fantastic. However, that means I've built, well, okay, the Ceratosaurus exhibit, since you guys already know this one coming next, I think that build has gone through 5 or 6 iterations. I don't even remember anymore. It's been a little bit since I finished it, but it's gone through about 5 or 6 iterations at this point. With and without moats, with more fencing, with less fencing. Like, I have rebuilt that build so many times at this point. It's kind of maddening. But yeah, basically I just kind of realized, oh, I'm using a lot of dry moats. Maybe I should stop using so many, but the problem is they work so well, especially when you're trying to build exhibits for giant animals. But yeah, anyway, that's that. Same kind of brick shelter that we've been doing a lot of because they look great. I mean, I don't know, I love the like kind of industrial look of them. They look like solid buildings that could keep an animal from, you know, the elements and from being seen. I'm trying again also to break away from those somewhat. The Ceratosaurus does use a much more natural, kind of like the Herrerasaurus. It's got a much more naturally integrated shelter. But yeah, anyway, overall pretty standard build. It really, I think, perfectly ties together everything that's worked well in this section of the park. We've got our planter in there, we've got a nice looking shelter, we've got the rock walls from like the Herrerasaurus, we've got some good fencing, we've got the dry moat, we've got great visibility from 2 different angles with enough to block between the angles, like there's actually a reason to go to the 2 different areas. Yeah, overall, I think this is one of my favorite builds we've done for this section. I don't know if it's my favorite overall so far, but it's definitely up there. I think this is one of the ones that was executed the best and works pretty well. I think if there's one thing I would change is I think I put a bit too much foliage in there. I definitely need to scale it back a bit in a few areas because, well, I think everyone who builds zoos, be it in this game or in other games, we all have a tendency to want to throw a lot of foliage in because plants are awesome and they look really cool, and why wouldn't you want to throw lots of plants in, right? The problem is sometimes we throw too many plants in and we make it really hard to see the animal, especially if it's something like this, which is somewhat of an apex predator where there's probably, or at least where I've gone with only one in the enclosure because I was like, well, I don't know anything about them, but I'm going to assume it's probably a territorial animal that probably lives solitary most of its life. So yeah, anyway, that's a thing. But yeah, I think I need to scale back a bit on the plants in here. I think I kind of went plant crazy with it because I haven't been able to do plants in the last couple of builds because, well, they were big animals that would trample all the plants. But yeah, anyway. Also, it's the last time you guys are gonna see the Triassic block palette. How sad, how sad. But yeah, anyway, I guess a quick update about the Prehistoric Fauna series as a whole. Thank you guys for all the support so far. But yeah, this is the end of the Triassic section. So we've got 3 more areas to go. I'm gonna count one of them as a 3rd area, even though it's only gonna be 1 build. But obviously we have the Jurassic, which is the next section that's going to be coming out, and that is going to be, I think, 3 episodes. In fact, both the next 3 sections are all going to be a lot shorter than this one was. Mostly because the Jurassic, which I think we have 5 animals for, the Allosaurus, the Ceratosaurus, Dryosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Camarasaurus, I'm going to be putting all 3 herbivores together into a single build. Because well, as you'll see in the next episode, basically, whereas this one has somewhat more of like a, I'm almost tempted to say Mediterranean. It isn't Mediterranean though, is it really? It's a bit more temperate than Mediterranean. But anyway, it's got this semi-arid, temperate look to it, which I guess would be Mediterranean. Anyway, that's not important. The Jurassic area I have gone very much like savanna with. What was the point? Oh, and because I've done that, I have decided to put all the herbivores together in a kind of like a giraffe, zebra, long-horned ox or whatever enclosure. So yeah, anyway, that's that. And then I think the Cretaceous build is maybe 4 episodes. It's also not very long. And then the final area is 1. So there's not a lot of episodes left to come, but they should be really good. We've got some really, really cool builds coming up. And to be honest, I am excited to see what you guys think of the other areas. But that's about all I have for right now. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed. And until next time, guys, see ya.